shocking.
Are you shocked?
This is Nashville, Tennessee. That couldn't happen
I
there.
know.
That's not country.
So you're known as one of the original country hellraisers.
What?
Yeah, did you know that?
That's shocking.
It's true.
Really?
Really, it's true.
No.
Is it true?
I wasn't around that as much, but of course it's true. I will never forget a security guard saying to me, your dad's show was wilder than Guns N' Roses. Literally, there was more naked people. There was more unruly things going on.
What?
So
Did you say naked people?
If you don't think Bo Sivas is the man, between 1979 and 1992, he released 21 albums, basically an album every 8 months. Every single one of them was at least certified gold. I welcome my partner in here in crime, not in life, Gregory Schmidt. How you doing, Greg?
Yeah. Doing all right. 13 years, 21 albums, every one of them charting #1. That's shocking.
And I was born in 1979, same year that was publicated, with Michael Bain and Hank, The Living Proof, and there I am at 13, ironically, in a Bo Sivas shirt in front of a pulpwood truck in North Carolina here.
Oh yeah.
And for any Yankees out there, pulpwood is just little sticks of lumber. No offense to the Yankees. And yeah. We use that terrible noise out of that truck. Yes, McCain said. We took the Taylor Swift CD out and put a Hank in.
Also, no offense to any Swifties out there. We've actually done a couple Taylor Swift reactions on the channel. So
Yeah, we have. So we're going to do a couple interviews today, really personal ones to Hank. And there's one that we probably won't do, but it involves these fellas. Hank and David Allen Coe, and it was about a Charlie Daniels incident in 1984 where Hank told him, that my crowd's getting pretty rowdy, man. No disrespect to you, but you might want me to go on last. And Charlie refused. It was his festival. And Hank got a little ornery and mean, like Waylon, I guess, and just kept playing his instrument. Even after they pulled the plug on him, he still played acoustically and screamed instead of singing. So they didn't get back together until I didn't realize it, but I was there in 2001 at the Walnut Creek Amphitheater, where Charlie Daniels and Hank Jr. and 38 Special, which is Ronnie and Johnny Van Zant's younger brother, I believe, Donnie Van Zant, and Marshall Tucker Band from South Carolina, and yeah, that was the night that Charlie let Hank close. So. Pretty cool.
Excuse me.
Well, Charlie's from North Carolina, and he's got just as big a name as Hank does. But as far as the crowds at that time in the '80s, yeah, probably wanted to get out of Hank's way. And I'm going to get out of Greg's way here because I'm going to go south of the border here. But I'll be here for the next interview. Greg's going to watch one from 1987. That was on 30-30, not 30-30 is the rifle. It's on 2020. So enjoy.
To success, his father's son, when 2020 continues.
To be named anything of the year, mother, teacher, athlete, takes quite a special person. We have proof of that tonight, a telling profile of the person who this year is country music's entertainer of the year.
I think Hank won that 5 years in a row. How to judge.
Hank Williams Jr. He's the son of the man who perhaps more than any other person gave country music its popular appeal. You would hardly know it looking at him, but at the age of 38, Hank Williams Jr. has had enough pain to last him a lifetime. A few years ago, Bob Brown brought us his story, and what with Hank Jr. at a new height in his career, we felt an encore was in order.
He is fascinated by guns as his father was.
So real quick, obviously the audio video quality is going to be a bit spotty here on this video. It's really old. I think the content is well worth it though. Hank is I think everybody knows the name Hank Williams Jr. I don't think a lot of people understand just the sheer scope of his achievements. I don't think people truly understand how talented he is. And I don't think people understand what he's had to go through to get where he's at. Otherwise, I think he would be, a name. And I'm not saying he's not, but I feel like, Hank Williams Jr. is considered like the country guy, where someone like, for instance, a Prince or a Michael Jackson are just sort of considered like they are who they are. And I think Hank should be that. Like he's he's not a country music icon. He's a music icon. He's an icon, period. But yeah, let's just go into this.
Hillbillies 2, Enemy 0.
Fascinated by the cause and effect relationship between the parts.
Load one, you skip one, you drop one. You drop
By knowing what will happen and why it will happen.
Drop one.
It's a feeling that was difficult to grasp when he was younger because he was swept up in an unpredictable form of cause and effect between the legend his father had left behind and its impact on his life.
If you and your baby have a falling out, call me up, sweet mama, and we'll pressurize out and we'll go honky-tonkin'. Hey, good.
Hank Williams Jr. was raised to sing his father's songs, Honky Tonkin', Your Cheatin' Heart, Jambalaya. Songs that still generate $500,000 a year in royalty checks nearly 35 years after Hank Sr.'s death.
Bring it on the door and we'll go honky-tonkin', honky-tonkin', we'll go honky-tonkin', honey, baby. We'll go honky-tonkin' round this town.
When Daddy died, in the newspaper clippings it says hillbilly singer died. But that hillbilly left a hell of a mark.
With 11 million selling records between 1949 and 1953, Hank Williams gave country music a national voice. But he was also addicted to alcohol and the pain-killing drugs he took because of a spinal defect. And he died, burned out, at the age of 29, when Hank Jr. was only 3.5. Hank Williams' heart failed on New Year's Day, 1953. He was in the back seat of his Cadillac on his way to a singing date. And when other country artists remembered him to Hank Jr., it was with the almost religious belief that the qualities in Hank Sr.'s songs had come from his suffering.
It was always, your daddy went through this stuff, and you'll have to go through it. We have to go through these things,
And they were talking about booze and pills and long
and
nights.
depression, that's a big sport to a lot of people, I think. And it was just drilled into me a lot,
The difference, of course, I think that's so prevalent today, where I feel like everyone feels the need to be depressed or outraged about something. And if it's not there, they'll look for it. Whereas at least I can understand to a certain degree these people felt that hardship gave you character, and that character would come out in your art. Hank's a bluesman, and the blues is definitely based on that idea. But it's your emotion going into your music, and if your life is mundane, what's your music going to sound like? Unless you just have like a really vivid imagination. But even then, even if you're fantasizing about something, that if the fantasy isn't informed by basic human emotions, it's going to fall flat. Hank Williams Sr. is, like his son, someone that I don't think gets shouted out enough when we talk about all-time greats. And I think one reason is the brevity of his career. But when you think it was 3 years, something like that he was active, recording and performing, and he left such a mark. And then Danny posted something on
6 years. Can you hear me? 6
6
years, and only really 3 years he was actually, making music that counted in the book.
Yeah. So people can talk about, like the Beatles get brought up a lot, Elvis gets brought up a lot, but they all, they're all Hank Williams fans. They all learned from him. Then he recently posted something on Facebook that I think was 20,000 people attended his Hank Williams funeral, and this was before social media. This was before television being what it was. This is when mass transportation wasn't nearly as smooth. So all these people, they actually had to work and plan and toil to get to this funeral, but they weren't going to be stopped. So I don't really think there's ever been anyone that's had an impact like Hank Sr. But because it happened, the window was so brief, and because it was before our information and communication apparatus has evolved like it has now, I think people tend to skip over it, and they definitely should not. Well, let's keep going. Both the Hank Williams, fascinating characters, and Hank 3. We got a video on the channel about him. He's also it's a very interesting guy. It's a look at that crowd. And how many of those people had to come from other states, and this was practically a pilgrimage. So yeah, you can't understand the magnitude of that event without understanding like the time that it happened in and how difficult that was just to get there. So yeah, just really incredible.
There were no airplanes. There were no interstates hardly.
Yeah.
Most roads were dirt.
Yeah.
Half of Alabama was dirt.
Yeah, so
and there was like segregation and shit going on. I mean, this was not easy,
Yeah.
Either.
1953. So yeah, absolutely crazy.
On top of that, there was very little communication for people to even know.
Mm-hmm. So yeah, the Williams bloodline is a absolutely fascinating one. Let's continue.
Your cheating heart, Lord, it tears us all apart. It makes the whiskey man hellbound.
I just put Daddy's record on the jukebox and get a nice fifth of whiskey and a couple of downers and sit there and try to communicate with him.
Oh, Hank's songs always make us feel down.
Hank Sr.'s troubles were recalled with chilling insight by a friend, comedian Minnie Pearl, who once rode in a car with him just to keep him sober between performances. She tried to ease his nerves by urging him to sing a hymn called I Saw the Light.
And all of a sudden he stopped and looked at me, and of course I'll never forget it because it was such a haunted look he gave me, and he said, "But that's just it, Minnie, there ain't no light."
Hank Williams' gravesite was dedicated in Montgomery, Alabama, a year and a half after his death. The small boy in the hat is Hank Williams, Jr. Barely 5 years old, he had already learned how to tip his hat to a crowd as he rode in a parade after the dedication, followed by a riderless horse representing the father he vaguely remembered.
Just like a blind man, I wandered along where his fears I claimed for my own.
Hank Jr.'s mother, the late Audrey Williams, quickly became the caretaker of the Williams legend, even though she'd been divorced from Hank Sr. She groomed Hank Jr. to take his place.
You were on the road, you'd started performing.
I was on the road when I was 8. When they came to see an 8-year-old and 10-year-old, it wasn't for his wonderful voice. It was because he was the son of Hank Williams.
They expected the miracle that had happened with his father, but I'm sure he felt when he'd come out on the stage that he was fighting a phantom because he was fighting the image of his father.
Tonight, Hank Williams Jr., the 14-year-old son, to sing some of his dad's country music hits. Let's have a fine welcome for this youngster.
Goodbye, Joe, me gotta go, me oh my oh. Me gotta go, oh, he rode down the bayou.
Hank Jr. was a country singing idol with a $300,000 a year recording contract by the time he was 14.
Son of a gun, we'll have big fun on the bayou.
Most of his friends were adults. His education came from a tutor.
Your cheating heart,
He was put through the rites of passage on the road.
They would try to give me a drink, you know, when I was 10 or 12. Say, well, we'll get a little hank of drink here. Those steel players and everything.
Did anybody ever tell you that you shouldn't do those things?
No, the road wasn't like that. I grew up quick.
Did you ever get to the point where you just couldn't function, or were you always able to?
Oh, yeah, I was
make
in the hospital several times. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that happened.
All the way out. The pills, you know.
Yeah, I'm going to go back a little bit here as I interrupted something, but I think when I was 8, I was playing with Transformers, enjoying going to the arcade, like going out and playing outside. Man was on tour. I wouldn't have minded having $300,000 a year contract when I was 14, but I talk about all the stuff that the obstacles that Hank has overcome. The fact that he had his childhood so aggressively ripped from him and still turned out as well as he did, that's nothing short of miraculous. I guess he took to the growing up rapidly as well as one could. Obviously, there were speed bumps, hiccups, as he's describing here. But when you think about so many other like child stars that grow up and they lose their minds, the fact that he's able to forge a legacy that not just the artistic legacy, but the fact he's actually just become a very, sober, solid, thoughtful individual is pretty impressive. Like, defying the odds, definitely.
I will say this, a couple things. The fact that he learned early in life to play multiple instruments, like a Prince or something, at a very high level, I would say he's equal to Prince in that. I don't know Prince well enough to know, but I'll go on and say he can play as many instruments as Hank. But Hank can play 9 or 10, like the bass guitar, the drums, the fiddle, the harmonica, the piano. The piano he played like Jerry Lee Lewis.
Yeah, he plays them all at a high level, like you said.
He can play the saxophone with it. He can play tubas. I mean, the man can play anything he wants. And he plays the damn fiddle down here. That guitar strap on one arm that drives me insane. Everybody's like, "Hey, please put the guitar strap over your neck." But another thing that shattered me that I didn't think about for a long time, and I've been singing Hank since before I knew what the words were about. I realized that he was named after the ventriloquist doll Bocephus. But when I realized that he was a literal ventriloquist doll, and that he had to at some point realize that he's named after a doll to imitate, that got me. So, yeah. I think that's what the song Shadow Face is.
Yeah, it's got to be. Got to be. Let's keep going.
Goodbye, Joe. Me gotta go. Me oh my oh. Me gotta go. Old hero down the bayou.
Hank Jr. was a country singing idol with a $300,000 a year recording contract by the time he was 14.
Son of a gun will have big fun on the bayou.
Most of his friends were adults. His education came from a tutor.
You're cheating hard.
He was put through the rites of passage on the road.
They would try to give me a drink, when I was 10 or 12. Say, well, we'll get a little hank of drink here.
What's up?
So if Hank was 8, then Elvis made Heartbreak Hotel. Actually, when Hank started, that would have been right when Elvis was going to the Army. So, okay, that misses each other. But I was going to say, if Hank's still making $500,000 a year off of his daddy and $300,000 year recording contract, he was basically Elvis.
Yeah.
Imitating his daddy, let alone, so people can say what they want. I mean, I love Elvis, but Elvis's first #1 hit was a country song. And the first time he ever dressed up and played in front of anyone, it was country music. He was called the Hillbilly Cat. Most Elvis fans don't even know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
Ernest Tubb gave him his first advice when he failed at the Grand Ole Opry. He said, "Go make your money, son, doing what you're doing." And, yeah, so, and Hotel California, Heartbreak Hotel. Even the makers of that song were talking about how, you know, they reference how Heartbreak Hotel is going to be like at the end of the Lost Highway. You know, where the men with broken hearts go to be so lonesome they could die. Like, yeah. So.
I will say both Elvis and Hank Williams Jr. have a gift for pissing off the establishment. Elvis didn't really fit in rock and roll. It was too country for rock and roll to rock and roll for country, so he kind of had to hybridize his own thing. Hank was kind of the same way, refusing to be pigeonholed. So good for him. Let's keep going here.
Those steel players and everything.
Did anybody ever tell you that you shouldn't do those things?
No, the road wasn't like that. I grew up quick.
Did you ever get to the point where you just couldn't function, or were you always able to?
Oh, yeah, I was in the hospital several times. Oh, yeah. Yeah, all the way out. The pills, you know, and the whiskey and the whole thing. I was really rolling in it.
You cry and cry and try to leave.
I thought I was going to die a couple of times, and it scared the heck out of me.
Sleep don't come. The whole night through.
Audiences always knew whether he was doing his father's songs the way they wanted to hear them. And if he diverged too far from what hardcore fans expected, he was often forced into exchanges with hecklers.
Hey, sing, hey, good looking. Well, I just sang it, you know, and you were so drunk you didn't hear it, or I'm going to do this other one. Why, you little so-and-so, your daddy would have. So, that didn't go over too good. So I thumped one of them.
You thumped somebody?
I thumped him, yeah, in Salt Lake City, I think. And boy, that felt good. It was driving me crazy. I had a psychiatrist tell me that he said, hey, you've been taught, you know, live like, act like, be like, sing like your dad. Your lifestyle's exactly like his, and you're going to be gone too. And I said, to hell with this. I'm not putting up with this crap. And I just left, and I said, bye.
Just a brief pause here. That guy playing piano so well playing it with his leg. At one point, they thought he wouldn't walk. So yeah, there's nothing like him.
Saying goodbye meant leaving Nashville, moving to Cullman, Alabama, getting a new manager who knew nothing about the music industry, and rearranging his life. He was 26 years old, and he decided to put the other styles of music he liked to use. Blues guitar and southern rock, and the piano styles of Ray Charles or Jerry Lee Lewis.
Ain't no rookies up here. Hey, you ain't begging. Oh, lot of shaking going on down in my hillbilly barn.
You know, you do it, and it's through, and you put it together. It's either a failure or a success. If failure is your fault, success is your fault. That's a good feeling.
So you were on your way.
Yeah, it was really looking pretty good, and I had gotten this part straightened out, you know, the whiskey and the drugs and the cloning of Hank Williams. So I said, I'll either make it this way, or I'm going to go open that mailbox and get Daddy's checks and do a hell of a lot of hunting and fishing.
But then, as he approached the age at which his father had died, he narrowly escaped his own death. Hank Jr. had grown up loving the outdoors. This trip took him into the Davis Mountains of West Texas on a deer hunt.
How far away it was?
The hunt was staged from a small cabin campsite with a group of friends, including Montana rancher Dick Willey. Willey was also with Hank Jr. in 1975 on a mountain climb in one of their favorite areas of Montana. It was that climb that nearly killed Hank Jr.
We're crossing this snowfield, about 9,000 feet elevation, and he slipped and fell in the neighborhood of 500 to 700 feet.
You want to stop so bad, but you can't stop.
And I'm going down through there, and then there was a sharp boulder up in it, and it did the job right between the old eyes.
You hit it face first.
Yeah.
About the only thing he had left was the one eye. It literally tore his nose off, drove it up through his head, and blew a hole in his forehead, which exposed the brain. And as far as his lower part of his head, his jaws, teeth, gums, they were pretty much ruined.
You know, the doctor said that you've been left here for something. Yeah, he said your brain was out and penetrated with that rock a little. Whatever you want to be, he said, I suggest you follow it, because you talk about people say they've been born again. He said, believe me, you were. You realize how quick time can run out.
Climbed up the Rockies and I swam down the...
That's why I picked this one, man. It's even when us that know, it's never vividly described to us how bad it was.
Yeah,
Right?
The man fell between 500 and 700 feet, that's a long way, and landed face first on a sharp rock. 90% of people that would have punched their ticket immediately. Everyone else probably would have wished that it did. So it's not just the fact that he survived that is insane enough and could still walk. But the fact that after this, he had the career that he did with those 13 years of 21 albums and every one of them charting, did this after his face, and as a vocalist, that's your instrument, that's your apparatus, and his was destroyed and rebuilt, and he was somehow able to come back from that. And the interesting thing to me has always sort of been that he had started off just they're trying to make him into a new Hank Williams, just literally the son being made to not just follow the footsteps of the father, but just become him. So, like many rebellious sons, Hank strikes out on his own, and he's making progress. But I think like this, because of the damage that was done and how it changed, like him wearing the sunglasses and growing the beard to kind of hide the scars, that was like the last step to sever the. It's almost like the past Hank, the ventriloquist dummy, that died on the mountain, and what was taken from the mountain, and was the new Hank Williams Jr., his own man. You don't want to see anyone go through that, but that kind of transformation is never easy. So it does feel like that, though. Like that was the final step in him becoming the Hank Williams Jr. that he wanted to be, that we all know. And I had no idea until Danny told me this. And that's sad. I think my mother, who likes country music, didn't know this. This should be much more well known, just because if you want to talk about overcoming adversity, it's mind-boggling.
And I spent winters trapping in the Mosey breaks. This ain't the first time I've been in a jam. I'm from Two Dot, Montana, and I don't give a damn.
In the 12 years since the accident, he has repeatedly undergone corrective surgery. He still wears dark glasses to cover his eyes, and his hat conceals a skin graft over a plate in his forehead. The self-pity is gone, he says. So is his patience with trivial details. And if he seems abrasive because of that, he doesn't complain about what he lost or apologize for what he gained because he is Hank Williams' son.
I got a shotgun, a rifle, and a four-wheel drive, and a country boy can survive. Country folks can survive.
There
Those
will
are
be
not
people
just
who will
lyrics.
come up to him as long as he lives and say, I loved your father. And I'm sure as he gets older now, Bob, I think he may more and more cherish that, because he will realize more and more what a truly great heritage he had. Hank had charisma and an excitement that he brought on stage with him. It was just like a Christmas.
Hank Williams was the king of country soul.
That's the part I had to grab a hold of, the fun Hank Williams. The one that was out squirrel hunting and pulling jokes. I'd just known about the other part too much.
Well, the people got mad and they all went home. Worst thing they did was put his records on. I guess they should have left him alone and let him sing his song.
There aren't many hecklers left in the concert halls, and his father's legacy still runs through his music. But it seems to belong to him now instead of owning him. And by surviving it, he learned to do one thing better than his father. He learned how to outlive him.
Why don't you leave them boys alone? Let them sing their song. Why don't you leave them boys alone? Let them sing their song.
Oh, damn.
That's quite a story. How
2, enemy 0.
Fascinated by the...
Again. But no, I think that's it's really a beautiful thing that you have the son coming to peace with his father's legacy. And because you understand that that legacy defined Hank and kind of took away from who he was as an individual for so long. So Hank rebelled against it for so long. And then when he went through what he went through, when he was finally able to forge the career that he did, I think he was actually able to look at that legacy in a different light and appreciate what it did bring him. I did like how they said he lost his patience for trivial details, and can definitely see that after going through what he did. I also think it's interesting, and it may sound like it's abrasive or whatever, but Hank Sr. talked about men with broken hearts and died of a heart attack, and Hank Jr. It seems like life kept trying to put him down, but couldn't. Like, I don't think you can kill Hank. That's as I remember he survived a suicide attempt earlier in his.
That's the next interview we'll watch.
Yeah, in his career, and yeah, he's just like when he sings stuff like "A Country Boy Can't Survive" or "Man of Steel," like those aren't just idle words that he's singing that someone else wrote. Like, he embodies that more than I think anyone possibly could.
Every time they've ever had a big storm in Alabama, Hank Jr. shows up. He went one time in specific to check on the Mary Carter paint store, because there is a Mary Carter paint store. And he has sang on every battleship that they ever had. I mean, I don't know any other artist in any genre that's done that, that's went everywhere like that. You'll see UFC and WWE and country. I mean, you'll see people go to different places. Hank's been like the guest of honor, his shows on battleships, USS Constellation, and many of them. Some of them were public events on TV, and Monday Night Football forever. And you never hear him talk about that accident. So that's why. And he don't really want a bunch of people giving that you know, that's he's not letting his disabilities but define his disability.
Yeah.
So or maybe I said that backwards, but yeah, I mean that's why I started this channel. Technically, was because of overcoming a disability and letting your art show. And yeah, Hank, I grew up. Hank Jr. taught me a lot, as much as my parents did. And they didn't teach me that. Just, you know, he taught me how to be humble. It sounds like I'm for love. You know, let's just don't find things to make each other mad instead of.
Yeah.
You know, the song would actually rhyme with "kiss my ass." You know what I'm saying? But he never says it once, even in concert. I've never heard him say it. Yeah, it's a very simplistic songs like "Weatherman" and "Queen of My Heart," but they're just great songs. You know, I'm feeling better. Highway for Making the Muscle Shoals. You know, it's good songs. And I disagree with Minnie there that she's still acting like Hank will never be like Big Hank. Waylon Jennings had the balls like he always does. And he's one of the biggest Hank Williams fans you could find.
Yeah.
I mean, the first triple platinum country single was "Did Hank Really Do It This Way?" And the first country music album to be number one was the Outlaws album. So, yeah, Waylon loves Hank, and he still stood up on the Ralph whatever show, Nashville Now or something. And he said, and I tell you what, he said, y'all get mad at me if you want. He said, but I think Hank Jr.'s done more than his daddy ever done and has blown him out of the water, if you tell me, ask me. And, you know, just by the sheer 3 years, yes, he has. Because that 29 albums or whatever, well, he's done 56 albums now, and 52 of them have been gold. He's still putting them out, still touring.
Yeah, this is always a sensitive subject when you talk about a beloved figure that's passed away. But the bottom line is, like, and I'll repeat what I said, Hank Sr., in the brief time that he was, left a mark like, you know, no one else has. But also, when you pass away early like that, you sort of, like, get elevated to almost like a sainthood or godhood because the world doesn't have a chance to see you fail or become more human.
Well, in his case, they did,
but that's my point. Like,
I got you.
Like
Yeah.
His music still stands the test of time, whereas Hank has had a longer career than a lot of musicians, and like those musicians, they have their peaks and valleys. They have like their high points, and then they have the points where they kind of embarrass themselves. Hank Jr. has been so consistent and so strong throughout his career. I think to me that.
Yeah, I was just going to say that I think it would be more than just he's performed longer than most artists. He's performed longer than almost all artists.
Yeah.
I mean, there aren't many that can, you know.
Yeah, and it's still doing it at a high level and has never released, has never done anything but, you know, he's never released anything that's embarrassed his legacy. Which, and like, a lot of artists have that, because there's always artistic missteps or whatever. But, you know, Hank has been ridiculously consistent and excellent throughout his career, and that is not easy to do. So, I mean, you can be excellent for 3 years. Like, you're not going to make the mark that Hank Williams did, most definitely.
No,
but
he did it first, too. I mean, there had to be somebody to do it first.
Yes, Hank Jr. has been that excellent for decades, and that is impressive.
I know Jimmy Rogers, before he jumped on me, I know it wasn't first. He was the first man to get up on the Grand Ole Opry and sing about cheating on your damn wife and seeing the light just same damn breath. He was the first one to do that. All right, we're going to do another one. So we'll probably put them out separately. Mental health is real.
No doubt.
We love you all out there.
Hank Jr. is the man. And if anyone watches this and learns something about Hank that they didn't know before, mission accomplished. Because the man's story deserves to be heard, you know, by as many people as possible in all the gory details.
Yep, no doubt. Axl Rose, eat your heart out. Much love, everybody.